Hello, everybody. This is Kevin, and I am here with Sir Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Kevin. Hey, everybody.
And let's see, we had, I don't know, a little more than 160 registered for this morning. Well, this morning for us, at least. About 50 are on at the moment, which is cool. Hello, everybody. Hopefully, you can see my demo installation of Local Biz Pro, and you can hear both Dave and I well. Please type something in the chat box to say hi and to let us know if you can, in fact, hear the audio okay. We can confirm that we are in a record mode, so that's good. Let's see.
Yeah, getting a lot of people chiming in. Charles is here. David Perkins in the house. Greg and Bob and Mike. Thanks, guys, for hanging out today.
Absolutely. See Jerry on?
Jerry, where are you?
He's here.
Ganty's here. Says Kevin and Dave, great teachers, great givers. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Ganty.
Awesome. Dave's a real trooper. He's got some kind of a bug going on. A lot of stuff going on in SoCal right now. He was up till like 3 o'clock in the morning coughing his brains out, so I appreciate Dave for jumping on. He'll probably be a little quiet to reserve his strength and voice, but he can.
I will. I don't want to cough you guys out of the webinar here. I was literally up coughing till 3 o'clock in the morning. Can you believe that? It's
cool.
the most frustrating thing.
I do see that Jerry is on, so that's awesome.
Jerry is here.
We love Jerry, and we may unmute Jerry and let him chime in possibly as well, depending upon whether we get a question that we can't field. Cool. All right. I think we're at 11:01, so we are in the official time frame of starting. We do try to start pretty close to right on time to basically reward those of you that do show up on time. Again, we've mentioned this like 100 times, but this is being recorded, and we will get the recording into the members area typically within about 48 hours of the live event. It does take a little while to go through some rendering and editing processes, and of course I've got a lot of other stuff to do in my business as well, so I typically give myself about a 48-hour window to make sure that I can get it all done and uploaded, and Jerry can do the work on the member site and to add it to Amazon S3, etc., etc. So that's just kind of the reason why it doesn't happen, within an hour. So it actually takes several hours just to produce it after we're done. Let's see. So my agenda, I have a very small agenda today other than answering questions, but talking to Jerry and looking at some of the common questions that have been asked of him since our public launch of the Local Biz Pro theme. Some of the things that have come up include a lot of questions on the footer widgets, some questions on footer customization. I'm also going to talk about the testimonial slider as far as content is concerned, because I don't think I covered that yet in the videos that are in the members area. And then we're also going to talk about an issue with Flash video. It's not just about YouTube, but Flash video and the drop-down menu. The issue isn't with our theme. It really is a Flash player issue, but we're going to show you the issue, and we're also going to show you how to fix it, so that's cool too. And then after that's done, we'll just open up for questions. One thing I will note about questions in regards to this webinar, this is the first of 2 Q&A webinars scheduled already, and you have access to register for both inside the members area. That said, we will do our best to answer most questions that come in, but I do want to keep today's Q&A session more towards working within the theme framework rather, as we've built it kind of out of the box. I know that we will get all sorts of questions, and how do I customize this and how do I customize that as far as doing things or extending things outside of some of the out-of-the-box setup, and that's all cool. We will definitely address those things, but I'd rather keep today's training focused on basically the basics of how the theme works as it's built with our back-end framework, because basically a lot of you are just starting to work with this theme, And we kind of got to start from the foundation before we start getting into the more advanced stuff. So probably I will hold the more advanced stuff until Q&A webinar number 2, which if I look at my calendar, I've written down webinar everywhere. I didn't write down what is in which. So at the moment, I'm not sure what date Q&A webinar number 2 is, but it is this month. And we'll get into some more of the advanced stuff there. So with that, let's get off to the races. Again, first thing I'm going to show you is the testimonial slider content. So if I come down the site a little bit right now, you will see that I have the testimonial, excuse me, the testimonial slider on. I have input 2 pieces of content to become testimonial sliders, and you'll see on the second one that I've also inserted an image. For those of you that didn't know that you could do that, now you know. Pretty much the main slider area, the featured box area, and the testimonial area, they basically work like regular WordPress posts. So you can input a lot of different types of content into them, much more than just raw text. So I just wanted to show that off. We're going to cover just the creation of a new one and talk a little bit about some of the settings. It should only take a few minutes to discuss testimonial sliders. Then we'll answer some questions in regards to them. Then we'll move on to footer widgets and so on until we have completed today's training. So here we go. In the back end, after you've logged into WordPress, the custom areas of our theme show up here on the left. Testimonials is a custom area that will only show up with our theme active. If you activate another theme like the WordPress default themes 2010 or 2011, these will all disappear because they're specific to our theme, not specific to WordPress. Main sliders, again, is the content for the main slider area, or fixed content in that area. The feature boxes is the content that you can create that show up under the main slider area. And these 3 are the main primary custom sections of our theme, except for appearance, site options, and theme options. These are also specific to our theme. So in testimonials, if I go to testimonials, it'll give us a list of what's currently active on the site, and I'll do that first. So you see I've created 2, one just simply named testimonial 1 and one named testimonial 2. We can edit those, we can delete them, etc. I'm going to simply click the add new button right here to add a new testimonial. Now, in regards to naming testimonials, the post title, this title up here, is not output to the theme, to the public at large. Basically, your visitors will not see this content. However, one of our astute beta testers did find out that with the Yoast's SEO plugin active, that it will pull some of the title content into the what they call the snippets. So just FYI, if you're using the Yoast SEO plugin and potentially some others, you may want to think about your titles a little bit as it pertains to SEO. So it might be, testimonial by Leo, for I don't know, we'll just say XYZ product. So this basically indicates, if this was, part of your SEO keyword, this would inject a little bit of SEO into the snippet that's being output, even though this isn't being shown to your visitors on the site. So just something to think about. I have some content right here that is just a dummy testimonial. See, it's by Leonardo da Vinci. This is just a text example, but I can either paste it in visual or HTML. In this case, I'll just put it in the visual tab and Control V to paste. So I have a couple of lines of text. I'm going to bold the actual individual, making the testimonial just looks a little bit nicer in my opinion. Just a simple, layout, basically content in two different paragraphs. I'm going to click the Publish button. With that done, we'll go back to the front end of the site, and I will click Refresh to cause the browser to refresh and allow us to see the change. You'll see that now we have a third circle show up dynamically. It'll create a circle for each new testimonial if you decide to have the circles active. There's our second, and we're coming up to our third. And there's going to be a problem with this, and I did it on purpose. And this is the problem. If I hover over it, we'll stay here. Guess it's not super bad, but with more content than the other two, you'll notice the spacing, it's kind of tight. It's a little bit tighter than one would like. And if we had another line of text here, I guess I can show you that real quick. If we just copied this last line of text, it'll be even more obvious what the problem is. So let's see if I can get that to activate. So with the third line of text, the problem is going to be more apparent. It's going to more than likely run over the top of our circles and look really, really ugly. And I can click the third one to go straight to it. And this is the problem right now. So you'll see that the content is here. We don't even see who the person is that's posted it. And I'm going to show you how to fix that for those of you that have asked that question. So inside of WordPress again, if we go to Appearance and then Site Options, where you're going to spend a lot of time doing changes and updates. If we go to the Testimonial Slider Options panel, here's where we can change, how long each review or testimonial stays, how fast it transitions between them. We can choose to show circle buttons or not. We can choose a different circle button image. I like this one myself for testimonials. We can choose a different color. Maybe we want blue. But here's the area that you will need to mess with if you find your content is a little bit taller than the default setting. So you enter a value. It's a pixel value, but you don't need the PX. It has a little bit of a note over here, just a numeric value, it says. Entering 200 will make the area 200 pixels in height. So by default, I think it's about 100. I'm just going to increase it to 150, again, just by typing in 150. I'm going to click Save All Changes. We'll go back to the site and refresh. The thing is, you don't need to know exactly what it is, or you can just guess. And if you don't like it, in 2 seconds you can go back and refresh it. So the first two look really good. We have a blue background. We got new circles. That was easy to do. We'll see what the third one looks like. We'll see if it looks good or not. And here it comes. So it's still a little tight. I still don't really like it even at 150. So this one, again, back into site options, maybe 170 is the right choice for this particular testimonial setup. I've saved changes. I've refreshed the browser. We have a bigger area now, and if we go to it, now that looks really good to me. So just so you know, if you have a client or yourself that wants to show a longer testimonial, you have the option to have the ability to resize it, but it doesn't size dynamically. It doesn't increase and decrease with the amount of content. We could have built it that way, but quite frankly, I hate those on a home page. And the reason is that if you allow it to be dynamic in height, what happens is as the visitor is on the page, they're here, and all of a sudden when that content expands, it'll cause the page to jump. And then as it contracts, the page will jump. And then as it expands, the page will jump. And I just absolutely hate that. I might be willing to do it on a sub page, but I would never put content on a home page that would cause the page to jump around like that. In my opinion, it's just very, very annoying for visitors. It's annoying for me. And so if you had the question as to why we didn't build it to be dynamic like that, the answer is that. So with that, Dave, do we have any questions about the testimonial slider before we move on to footer widgets?
There's a question here that says, so is the title tagged as a permalink?
Well, it creates a page URL if that's what you're asking, because yes, it is technically creating content on the site. So if we go back to let's see what we can do here. So you'll see that it's created the slug, and the slug is what's being used to create that. Actually, I don't know if I have permalinks actually set up for this demo install. Let's get out of here and go back to just full edit. We'll take a look. Yeah, I do. So you'll see that over here it's using testimonial by Leo for XYZ product as part of the permalink URL. And you can see over here that it's basically created this page with the content. It's basically how it works. But it doesn't inject this page into any of your site navigation. So really the only way that your visitors are going to find it, they're going to find it if you have activated the testimonial slider. Does that answer their question?
I believe so.
Yeah, all of the content that's created through like main sliders and testimonials and feature boxes, it's going to create a permalink to that content.
Does that content get scanned by the search engines? Is it something that they should always be conscious of putting in keywords with that? I know you just mentioned that you can for that one particular plugin, but
right.
In general, it's probably a good rule of thumb to do it anyways, right?
Yeah, I would say it's generally good. You know, how much traffic you're going to get to a testimonial page like this, I don't know, but yes, it is possible for them to index that content.
Okay. Yeah, Jimmy's asking, does it go into the sitemap? Yeah, I don't know.
You know what? That's a good question. I honestly, we're going to get into creating a Google XML friendly sitemap in video training that's coming up. So we'll check it at that point. I've already created sitemaps with the plugin, but I didn't actually check the generation of the sitemap other than just to make sure that everything was proper to know if that content is generated through the regular sitemap. And I would guess that it probably is.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't swear to it at this point, but it's a good question.
Okay. Let's see. Steve has a he's asking a question here, but you know, if you had, say, for example, 20 testimonials, would someone want to wait and watch all these rather than possibly having a page for testimonials that could show them all?
That's that's up to you and your client.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the only thing I'm going to say on that, that's just a you will find there's a lot of sites that do have that many testimonials loaded up into this type of a functionality like that. I don't know necessarily that anybody really just sits there and just, reads all the testimonials for a while. I think just from a conversion standpoint or from a website legitimacy standpoint, just the fact that you see that there's a number of them that run through, just the fact that you see that that's the case, it increases your perception of, wow, this must be something good, as opposed to, oh, there's 3 of them, and wow, is that all they could field?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be completely up to you and potentially your client as to how many you want to show. My only suggestion in regards to that, I think a testimonial page that shows all of your testimonials is a great idea. Of course, if you do that, you don't want to create it through the testimonial special functionality. You'd want to just create it as a regular page, and then maybe use your choicest testimonials for the slider if that's what you want to do. But when you do that, one thing I'll just point out real quick is inside of site options and testimonial slider options, I would recommend, if you're going to do like 20 testimonials, you're going to want to turn the showing of these circle buttons to false. I mean, you might want to do that anyway, but you don't want to show, because each time you create a new testimonial through our custom panel, it is going to output that new circle, and you really don't want to see 20 of them down here. And you could get to a point literally where you could probably expand outside of the fixed testimonial width area, which would be another layout issue. No. So so that's what I would recommend. It still is a slider, as you can see. It's still going through content even without the circles. The only thing it doesn't give them is the ability to navigate between them. And I don't know if anybody has already, I'm sure most of you have figured that out, but if you haven't figured that out, let me go show you that real quick. The circles that show up both in the testimonial area and over the top of the sliders, they're not just decorative. They actually have tech built into them. So, for instance, Mickey Mouse is here. And if I go to this one, we get Batman. If I click on third, we can go to Leonardo da Vinci. And I can move between content that you basically give the visitor control over the content with the circles. They're not just pretty. They actually have a function. And one other thing, if you didn't already notice it, if the visitor hovers over any of the slider content, either the testimonials or in the main slider, it remains static. It remains fixed. It'll only start to animate again once their cursor is off that particular area. Will it go back to becoming a slider? That's really important to note, because if you or your client wants, an opt-in form or something that requires, visitor interaction, you definitely want to know that it's going to stay in one place while they fill out the form or click a button, etc.
Got it. Can you show how you put that Batman image in there?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay, so, the images go in just like any other post, right? So if we go to testimonials, add new, and we create a new one, live photo testimonial. So we have text, and I'll just grab the same demo text from the last. I would input the text first. You don't have to do it this way, just the way I would do it. And then determine where you want the image to show up. You can put it at different places. You might want to put it, down here. You might want to put it on the top left. We can put it over here if we want, etc. So just figure out where you want it first. Put your cursor where that is. Click the upload and insert icon for add media. Go find the image either from your computer. You can now, with WordPress 3.3.1, I think it was the 3.3 as well, you can drag images right into this area and it'll pre-populate, or you can click this button to go to your computer and select them, or if you already have it on a live URL, you can link to it. I would not recommend that you hot link to someone else's image. By that I mean, if you find a nice image you want to use from someone else's site, if it's live on their site, I would not recommend that you just include the URL path. It'll do it through WordPress, but it's not nice, and if you don't have permission, it's not legal. So I wouldn't do that. If you already have images in your media library already uploaded, like the Batman image is already here, you can just navigate to it and use it. So since I have the image already there, we'll just do it that way. I'll click show, and we'll see the content. It'll tell you the title. You can enter alternate text, which is good for SEO, and I would recommend that you do for all of your images in there. It's going to try to link the image back to the path. I can't stand that, so I click none. Unless you want to link it to somewhere, don't. And then make sure that you know what size it's going to place it. The alignment basically says, do I want, none, left, center, right. In this case, I'll do left align, and then I'll click insert into post. So now we have the image over there on the left. I click publish and refresh. Now we have a fourth image, this time with Batman's picture and Leonardo da Vinci's text. Text is a little tight to the image. That can be solved a few different ways, but more than likely, if you click on the image itself and go to the edit image icon over here, in advanced settings, you'll find the ability to add some space. So you have vertical space, horizontal space. I'll just try a value of 10 for 10 pixels, and we'll see what happens. All right, so it's pushed the image away from the quotation marks, it looks like, but it hasn't actually affected the text at all. So I'd have to show you how to do that via custom CSS for this particular thing. I don't really want to get into that in this first Q&A. We will definitely get into that kind of stuff very, very soon in the upcoming web developer webinar, and also in the second Q&A. But just know at the moment that you can enter an image in these areas. If you wanted to rather put this image, down here for the time being, this should work, except for the fact that it's going to require, which is not a good thing. It's going to require that the testimonial post box be much taller. I would really prefer that the image be in line, either aligned left or aligned right. The aligned right looks pretty good with the default one. This is going to create a box that's just way too big, but you'll get an idea. There we go. It could be smaller, but there's another way to show it without butting up against the text. The align right version actually has a little bit better padding around the image, but we'll talk about that in an upcoming video and webinar training as far as how to adjust some of the padding or something else through custom CSS. Anything else not super custom in regards to testimonials, or we good?
Super custom, no.
Everything else is super custom.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. It's not that we're avoiding your questions. It's just that with this very first Q&A webinar, if we get into all the how do we do this super custom thing and how do we do that super custom thing, we won't be able to get through just the standard things that many or most people need to know. So please note, we love you, and we will continue to provide training. And as questions come in to Jerry passes them immediately along to us. And that gives us a really good understanding in regards to what kind of training or information that we need to provide back to you. And that's kind of the way this works in our business. We are very interactive with you, our customers. So let me next jump over to footer widgets. A lot of questions came in to Jerry about footer widgets. All of the widgets are in the appearance and widgets area, whether they are in the footer, the header, or the sidebars. Again, pointed this out on the videos. We already had a video on widgets. But there's a separate individual sidebar for the home page, a separate individual sidebar for all pages, meaning anything that you create in the pages area over here, separate sidebar for all posts pages, which is anything that you create in the posts content, basically your blog area, separate widget area for the header, the content that can be shown up here to the top right should you so choose. And then the footer. The footer is broken into 4 different areas, labeled footer 1 through 4, and they what's the word I'm looking for? They correspond to the 4 footer columns. So this column currently labeled as pages is footer 1. They start from the left, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. By default, you will see this content outputted into your theme. The Contact Us widget will show up, recent posts, archives, and pages. This is very common with WordPress themes, is to have basically placeholder content. However, you can show anything that you'd like. You do not have to show what's pre-populated, and it's very easy to do. I think the one thing that confuses, I think the one thing that confuses most people that are new to WordPress is when they go open one of these and they find out, hey, wait a minute, it doesn't look like there's anything there. But yet you go visit your site and you see contents there, so you know it's there. It's there because basically there's a statement that says, hey, if they haven't added anything, show this. And so that's why. So here's an example. Again, we go back to the site. If we scroll down to the bottom, in the left-hand area we have pages, right? It's showing the pages of our website. we go back to widgets. If we drag over one of the widgets, it doesn't matter what it is. We'll put a calendar in there and call it posts by date is pretty frequently used for this. We save it, go back to our site and refresh. We will see that pages is now gone and we have posts by date. And that's how that works. It uses the default content until you tell it to do something else. So just know that each one of these widget areas works the exact same way. I don't need to go through each of those. And also know, I'm pretty sure that I pointed this out before in the video, but if I didn't, please also know that you can input multiple widgets into the same footer column, which is why we've built them as individual widgeted areas. A lot of themes don't do this, which basically allows you to put one widget in each column. So now you'll see that we have a search functionality and we also have the post by date functionality in here. Now, okay, post by date doesn't really refer to search, so you may want to label it differently, something more generic, which is fine. It doesn't really matter. I don't think anybody's going to be too bothered that you have a search functionality in the post by date, but you get the idea. You can add multiple pieces of content, and of course I could have added a title if I had wanted to. It's just I think it looks better without it. If I put the title search our site, you'll see that the title shows up in that area down there as well now. So it says search our site. So you can have titles in the area that flow too. The last thing I'll show you before we take questions is just the contact us widget. So we know that that last column is footer 4, and we know that nothing's going to show up here, but I can tell you that our custom footer contact widget is showing by default. So let's say you don't want the footer contact widget at all, which is fine. You can either do one of two things. You can add some other functionality into that area. So say maybe you wanted to, let's see, what might you want to show? Maybe you wanted to show a Weber form down there. And I won't go over the Aweber form at the moment because we've covered that already in the video, but just so you understand, if you add the custom Aweber widget to footer 4 and save it, go back to your site and refresh, you will see automatically, I didn't put the custom information, the heading and the text for the submit button, etc., which is why it looks really funky and why it's out of line. It doesn't like that. It wants a title. So just put in some text so it doesn't look.
Kev, real quick.
Yep.
A question came in regarding that Aweber. I know we're going to talk about customization on that, but I guess there's a black border that goes around that custom widget. Is that accurate? Because the question is that they're placing it in the footer with a black background, and it says, let me read it. It's from Dave Perkins. I'd love to be able to determine the color and border in the custom Aweber widget. I place it in the footer with black background, and it's the only widget with a border. It looks kind of strange. If the border was black, it would blend right in.
I'm not entirely sure what Dave's asking. He's saying there's a black border on the outside of this rounded area.
Yeah, so I'd love to be able to determine color of border in the custom Aweber widget.
Okay, well that the easy way to do that, that's outside of what I want to get into right now, Dave, but here's the thing. If you go to appearance in the editor, we're going to come back to the footer because I have something else, a couple of other things to show you, but we'll get off tangent for just a second. If you go over your theme to appearance editor, the area where we were hoping to keep most of you guys out of, not because we wanted to keep you out of it, because we were hoping to allow you to stay out of it for customization. If you go down to the very bottom, you'll see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 style sheets. The third in the list, SWSTAT style.css, is the main style sheet that controls how things are displayed on the site. So if I click and activate this one, it'll activate it up here. If you look for Aweber, it's going to be towards the bottom in the custom stuff. You're going to get to see right here, basic Aweber form, and then you're going to see the fancy Aweber form. The fancy Aweber form is what is controlling. This is the CSS that's controlling that. So for instance, let's see, I can tell you here that there's a border of 222, which is a almost black. Input types. This is for, no, this is for the button. This is the radius up here. Let's see. Yeah, so the background color by default is 999, which is kind of a medium dark gray, and the border line is 333. So if you wanted to change that to something else custom, you can do it there, and it'll affect that change. So that's all I'm going to say about that for now. And Dave, if you have specific questions, you know how to get a hold of us. Let's see. Back to appearance widgets. All right, so a couple of other things about the Contact Us widget, or the thing here. So again, replacing any widget in that area will get rid of it. If you simply wanted stuff to go away and not have anything in a column, which I wouldn't honestly recommend, but if that's something that you wanted to do, delete the Aweber. You can drag a text widget into the area and basically save it with nothing in it. And I haven't actually physically tried this, but theoretically it should just make it disappear, which it does. So you have basically 3 columns now. If you really wanted something to go away, that's the way it can be done. And the last thing about footer widgets before we just take questions is if you decide to add the footer contact widget, something that we really like, I've covered this already. You put the full URL path to your contact page, so your domain.com/contact, whatever that happens to be. You put in, just added the word live so you can know that it showed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, your street, avenue. Now here's one thing to point out. Some of you I know are outside of the US and in areas where you have really long addresses. And this is something that came up during our beta thing, and we've given you the functionality, so you need to know this. If you have really long addresses, it might cause the content to look weird in the footer. So what you can do is put a line break, a little piece of HTML code where you want it to start a new line. So I'm just going to put the angle bracket, left angle bracket, also the less than sign. I'm going to put BR, both in lowercase, which stands for line break, and then I'm going to put the other angle bracket, or the greater than symbol. And I'm going to put the text test second line. This is now going to output this address text onto 2 lines. And of course, the city doesn't have to be a city. It could be a borough or an area, but whatever. Phone number and an email address. So we have all the information. If you want to link it and make it cause the email to open a mail form, you can click to link it. If you don't want it to cause a mail form, you just want to show the text, you can leave it blank. I'll just go ahead and tick it for fun. And save, and then close. Now we'll have a footer contact widget in the last column. You'll see that the text is what I've added, and you'll see what I was talking about just a second ago, the fact that we have the address over 2 lines. So if you have really long content, you can just add line breaks at appropriate places to make sure that your content stays nice and tidy. All right. Any questions on the footer widgets?
Footer
Just widgets.
Let's see. Is the contact widget V-card micro-formatted coding?
No.
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 Okay. Footer widget specific. Anybody questions?
If not, we're going to show a little bit more about footer customization here in just a second, even though I've talked about it. I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of stuff, but you can talk about the footer area just a little bit more.
Okay, it says on my home page, I still have the HTML home on the home page. How do I get rid of that?
Okay, so home is still showing up, and that's done through the custom menus areas. So we'll get into that. I'll just add that to my list. Talk about menus.
Okay.
Talk about menus after we get through footer. We have anything custom, just about, not custom, but footer widgets?
Let's see. What do you typically place in the footer? No, that's not custom footer widgets. No, I think we can go.
Okay, good. So if we go down to the footer, you can see, again, you can put whatever content you want, and you can add multiple widgets to each one of the 4 columns and customize the content however you or your client would like. Reordering content, you should already know that, most likely, but if you don't, let's say that your client says, I like it, but I'd like the search box to be at the top. If you hover over the title, you get the 4-way directional arrows. If you click and hold and drag and wait for those dashed lines to show up and let it go, dynamically it has now just switched the position of those. So now you have search our site and post by date at the bottom. So if you didn't know that, that's how that's done. We're going to get much more into WordPress in the WordPress developer webinar. This is more about the theme and how to work with the theme than it is to use WordPress, but they're intertwined, so there's no way to basically disconnect the training. Let's see, footer customizations. If we go back to the site and again look at the footer, I wanted to point out just this last one thing. So down here we have a copyright statement. It's dynamically pulling the active year. You can change this in the code if you want, but if you don't, basically when we hit 2013, it'll say 2013. The My Business Name content is being pulled from inside of WordPress from the site title information. These links down here, you can choose to show them or not. It's entirely up to you. We have the ability to show up to 5. By default, it says terms, privacy policy, sitemap, link 4, and link 5. But again, you don't have to show any, or you could show 1, or you can show 3, or you can show 5. It's entirely up to you. Over here, this text, website designed by, and then the link is controlled inside of the site options panel, the custom panel, same place that these links are controlled. And I just wanted to show everybody that customization before we go. We've already covered how to change these to colors rather than the default footer background. So just with the footer text stuff, you go to Appearance first, Site Options. When you get there, you want to go to Footer Options. And here's where you can basically make all the changes you want relative to just the footer area. You can change the color of the heading text. This text right now is currently blue. Down here, just in the footer area, if you'd like that to be white or something else, just stay at the bottom. That's where that's changed. If you want to use your own custom colors rather than the default background, you simply tick that box and then make sure that you have entered colors into each of these areas. I'll leave the default background image on. But lower down on the page, you see link label and then link URL for 1, for 2, for 3, and all the way to 5. So let's say you didn't want terms, whatever you wanted, I don't know, how about website terms? Maybe that's the first link you wanted to show. Maybe not. Maybe you wanted your very first link to be, I don't know, privacy policy. it'll put it in order from left to right. So the link URL is the full path. Whatever your full path is to your privacy page. Again, I'll just put in a second one. And it will output it exactly as you type it. So if you want it to look nice and you want it to have uppercase first, letters of each word, you need to make sure that that's the way you enter it. However you put it in is how it's going to spit it out. All right, so I just put in link 1, link 2, so you get the idea. Down here in the bottom, the last section, this 3 text fields, is the attribute link and text. So website design by is right here now. Maybe you don't want website design. Maybe you want yours to be SEO. And we'll just leave killer design there, and we could point it to killerdesignco.com if that was real, if that was our site. And whatever you input here is what's going to be output to the bottom right of the footer area. So having changed that, we'll see the default links have changed. No longer is there the full list of 5. We have now privacy policy and website terms. And over here we have SEO by, and then the link to back to our business, which is part of the white labeling process and covered in the white labeled video that we created. So that's pretty much all. Handles all the questions that have come in about the footer area. But does anybody have any questions specific to what I just showed, Dave?
There's a question regarding, let me read this. Is there any way to keep private pages from showing up in the footer widget for pages?
Is there any way to keep private pages?
Download. What if you had a download page, you're using, I'm assuming, pages that are not in the menu.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're talking about. Oh, my brain just woke up. Okay, so right now we don't have pages listed down here, but yeah, I'll show you how to do that real quick. So let's go create a fake page. So let's go over here to pages, and then add new. And so now you have download page secret. Oops, what did I do? All right. Okay, so you have secret content basically on this page that you don't want anybody to know about. So we've created the new page. We're going to publish it. And if we go to the site now, we're going to see that it doesn't appear anywhere on the front end of the site because I have custom menus showed up, added. And I know they're questions, so they might be confused at this point, but I'm getting there as soon as my server decides to respond.
So how about them USC Trojans?
Knock it off. All right, so right now, since I don't have pages showing anywhere, not in the sidebar, it's not showing, as a widget in the footer, the URL to that page isn't exposed to the visitor at all. It doesn't show up anywhere because I have a custom menu created for this site. If I didn't have the custom menu, it would automatically populate a link to the download page secret. Okay, so their question then is, okay, what happens if you go to appearance and then widgets, and in the footer area, in footer 2, say, you want to show your pages. So we put this over here, and we put, I don't know, I don't like to use pages. I like to use site navigation, just a personal thing. And we click Save. All right, so now what is going to happen is, voila, we have pages, and we have a link that goes straight to our download page secret, and that's the question. The question is, oops, I don't want that. How do we get rid of that? So it's already built into just normal WordPress functionality. what you need is the page ID. See where it says exclude? This is where you can exclude any pages that you would like. So the question is, okay, well, how do I get the page ID? So if you go back to pages and then you list all, basically, and let's see here. It's been a while since I've even done this myself. I don't think, yeah, I think we have to get into it. I might need Jerry's help at the moment, which is kind of funny because this is a very easy thing to do. It's just one of those things where until you know exactly where that data is output, all of those that are WordPress savvy, which I am too, are laughing at me right now, which is okay. I'm okay with being who I am. Maybe it's in here.
You're saying, Jerry says hover over the edit button on the list.
Yeah, I knew it was
and look
right here. Okay.
In the footer of the browser.
In the footer, that's where it shows up, and that's why. It's the only piece I'm missing. So if you hover over the actual page title over here, it's really hard for you to see, but down in the very bottom area of my page, which is showing up right above the icons at the bottom, it says post.php post equals 168 and action equals edit. It's the 168 that WordPress is attributing to that page ID. Thank you, Jerry, for fixing my brain. So we go back to appearance widgets, go back to the footer 2, which is where we've input that, open up that. And all we have to do is just type in 168. And if you had multiples, you can see right there it says separated by commas. So you just go back to the full page list, hover over it, check the numeric value that shows up. When you hover over it, down low in your browser, and then add it to this list. And once you've saved it and you've gone back to your site, you will see that that download page is now gone. And that's the issue with that. Cool?
Cool. Antonio's asked this question a couple times, and
okay.
Let's see. In the footer area, can we keep the default content and just edit the info?
No. If you go to put any widgets in there, the technology is such that it just wipes the old and replaces the new. So the answer is no. You can leave the content exactly as it is, and it'll work perfectly exactly as it is. Well, I take that back. Other than the footer widget, you need to update. Obviously, by default, it doesn't know your contact page URL. It doesn't know your business contact information. This is an area that you must update. These first three, if you really want it to show the default content, you can just leave them alone and update the last, and everything's fine. But no, you will need to update these if you want to make any changes. It just takes a few seconds to drag whatever widget you want into that area and edit it. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Last thing on Jerry's list of things to show is the drop-down issue with YouTube or any other Flash video. So right now on the demo site that we're using for training, you'll see that I've input content for just one slider, which is why it's static, which is really cool. I've also chosen the no border image option, so the border image is gone. And when I input the content for this slider, I input a YouTube video, and I created a custom image over here. This is not actually text, it's just an image. This same thing can be achieved with text. It's a little more complex, and I will show that in either an updated video or maybe in the second Q&A webinar, because literally you can do a lot of really cool customizations to this thing without all that much work. But again, it's super flexible the way it is. For anybody that doesn't want to touch that stuff, you'll be able to create all sorts of really cool websites, but we are going to show you how to do some out-of-the-box stuff too. Just wanted to point that out. However, I can tell you that while you may not see that there's a problem, I can tell you that there's a problem right now on the site. If I hover over the drop-down area, sample page, you see full width and nothing more. That's all you see. Well, I can tell you that there is another page underneath this, but it's showing up behind the video player. And again, I want to make note, this is not a problem with our theme. This is an issue with Flash video players. Any Flash video player is going to cause this issue to show up. So while you don't see it here, you're going to see it in just a second. I'm going to activate. We'll go over to the site. We'll go into main sliders to the full list. I have a number of them created. The others are set into draft mode. So I'll just turn on any one of these others, put it back into published so it'll appear and cause the slider to happen so you can see it live. So I'll hover over quick edit. It's easier to do it this way. And I'll click status, and I'll change it from draft to published, and I'll click update. That will basically cause two sliders to start appearing, and because there's more than one content, we're going to get the slider to start going. So if I don't hover over the area, we are going to get an image, and then we are going to get this video and image content. Okay. Now, if we go over and we wait for the image to appear again, just a second, I don't have any control of this right now because I have all the, if I hover over this, now you see the other item, you see the blog. So you know that there's a blog thing here, but oops, as soon as we hit the video, that disappears, okay? So if you add any Flash video to your main slider area, this is what you need to know to fix it. So if we go back to main sliders, the code that we need to edit is based in the video code. So we'll go ahead and click the full edit button for the video post, the video slider, basically. We'll switch to HTML mode. All right, now here's a whole bunch of text, and I realize it's kind of hard to read, but the very first bit of this is our custom shortcode, and right here, where it starts with object, this is the code that came over from YouTube. This is what is called the old YouTube code, the one that's not embedded in an iframe. You can use either, just FYI. How you achieve or how you fix the drop-down menu issue is similar but just a little bit different depending upon whether you're using the old YouTube code or the new YouTube code. So I'm going to show you both. If you're using the old YouTube code, the one that is longer and begins with object, make a note of this. This is what you need to do. Find the very end of that code before the closing object tag, before the word object that has the / in front of it. Look at the code right before it, and you'll see that we have this stuff. We have allow full screen equals true, allow script access equals always, allow full screen equals true. And why we have that twice, it's kind of weird, but that came straight from YouTube. What you need to do is add a new statement. And in all lowercase, it needs to be W as in whale, M-O-D-E, W mode, W-M-O-D-E, all in lowercase, the equals sign, the quotation marks or double quotes, whichever you are used to hearing that, and then you add the word transparent, another quotation mark, and a space. Make sure that there's a space after it and before this / So what I've added here now is W mode equals transparent, and I will make sure that this is added to the FAQ section on the site. And at the moment, let's see if I open up GoToWebinar and I put it in the chat box for old version of YouTube. Code, add this. All right, that's going out to everybody, so that's good. All right, I just sent everybody via the chat box a note. So for the old version of YouTube code, you want to add what I just typed, wmode equals, in quotes, the word transparent. And once I have updated this page by clicking the update button, and we go back to the front end of the site and we refresh, as soon as the YouTube video comes up, I will show you the difference. Now when we hover over it, okay, it's going to make a liar out of me. I'm going to Control F5. If you don't already know about it, it's a forced refresh. Sometimes browser changes don't take full effect, which is really annoying when you're doing web development and making changes like this. If you ever run into an issue where you know that you've made a change, but it's not showing up, Control F5 is a good thing. So it's not showing up. The question I have is, number one, did I do it right? And the answer is yes. And did the update take? Sometimes WordPress updates don't take, and the best thing to do is to go back and click the update button again, or publish button, or whatever you were last doing, just to make sure. Okay, and there we go. So the update didn't take, but the code was proper. So now you see that we have blog over the top of the video, also over the top of the images, and that's how you solve that image with the old code. If we go over to YouTube real quick, and let's see, I want something tame. Dave wants USC football. What's the one you like?
2011. See that one.
That's a safe, family-friendly video. All right.
They all are.
Right.
Fun for the whole family.
Right. Okay, so when you get to the YouTube video, you click the share button. Scroll down a little bit. Then you click the embed button, and it's going to by default show you the iframe type code. If you want the old code, you choose this box. So this is where I got the object type code from. If you choose to use if you untick that box, you get the iframe code. Also, you saw that I unticked. By default, it says it's going to show suggested videos when this video ends, and you certainly don't want that on your site. So make sure you untick that. So once you've copied the iframe code, if you're going to use the new version of the code, you might want to paste it to a text editor. I'll get rid of this so we can look at it clean. There's a lot less code here. The only thing I personally don't like using a whole bunch of iframes on my site. That's my own personal thing, but you can do what you want. The difference is going to be how we add that bit of text. Right here, you'll see a full URL path to the source. So src for source equals, in quotes, http://, you know that's going to be a URL. And it goes all the way down. So let me expand this. Yeah, get on one line. So this entire URL path between the quotation marks. So it ends with rel equals 0. If you're going to use the new version of the YouTube code, all you do is change and add an ampersand, which is that symbol, and then you add wmode equals transparent. Now this time you need to be careful. So you need to be careful both times, but we've added and wmode equals transparent. We have not put transparent in quotation marks in this example. You need it in the old version. You don't need it in the new version. So I'll send this out here in just a second. But that's the bit that we've added to the end of the source URL. And I will send this out first. Let's see. And that is going out. Again, that's added to the end of the source URL. And make sure that that version does not have the word transparent in quotation marks. It needs to be inside of that ending quotation mark, but the word transparent is just like I just typed it. Once that's done, if we go back to our post, if I switch out the object code all the way down to here, if I get rid of that and we input Control V, the iframe code for the new video, and we click update, and we hope that our WordPress update has taken. We'll know as soon as we see the video. If it's switched over to the USC video, we know it's worked. And it has, and the drop-down slider still works. The code was added properly to it as well. So if you have, and it doesn't have to be YouTube, it can be a Flow player or through Vimeo, etc. If it's a Flash player, then you're going to have this issue with the drop-down menu until you add that code to it. So anybody have any questions on that? If not, now's the time that we basically get to open this up for the next 25 minutes for kind of a free-for-all.
No, there was a question regarding using different players, so you covered that. Mike has, I guess, an issue. He says he has a video slider and a text slider on a test site, and they're overlapping each other when they change. Is this probably the same problem he's asking because he didn't put in that W mode transparent?
No, it's hard to know. See, one of the problems with I'll just be completely straight up honest, that's the way we run our business. Adding third-party content like this video coming from YouTube has the potential of causing issues if you have animation on. And the reason that is because your server, when the browser goes to load that page, your server has to go access that information from this third-party server. It has to go over to YouTube and actually get that content and then feed it into your site. It's not coming from your own site. So you're tied to this other site. You're now dependent upon this other site and the speed at which it can deliver the content. So sometimes, like right now on this demo site, it's working really, really well. The demo video is loading up pretty quick, and since I'm not completely hovered over it, it's going to the other one. It actually looks really, really nice. Sometimes it works perfectly, but if YouTube was getting hammered with traffic and if they were feeding the content into your own site more slowly, you might get into a position where your animation settings are such that it can't even load the video before your next slide shows up. And it's not a problem with the theme. It's a problem with the connection of trying to bring third-party content into your own site. So just understand that third-party content, while it does, excuse me, I need a drink of water. I got a frog in my throat. Excuse me. While it does give you some really cool, options to use YouTube video, etc., there is the potential downside of issues with it as well. So it might be just an issue with the load time of the video over at the third-party site, trying to bring that content into a site, and the settings trying to then animate to the next slide before the content is really loaded. So it's kind of hard to know. If you have a specific need, just email Jerry over at support@localbizthemes.com. Give him your site information, and he'll look into it and help if he is capable of doing so, which is most of the time. And if not, he'll get a hold of me, and if I need to get Al involved, we will get Al involved as well. We'll do our best, but just know that there is outside challenges whenever you add third-party content to sliders. It's really better to, if at all possible, use content that's coming from your own site. Anything else?
Let's see. Are we open? This is open. Are we open to everything now, or are we still talking about slider stuff?
Well, no. I wasn't talking about sliders anyway. I was only talking about the drop-down menu. Oh wait, someone asked about the menus. Before I forget, I made myself a note too. Let's go. We'll do this and then we'll open up for questions. So appearance and menus. If you have the home page showing on your site or it's duplicated, then I'm guessing that maybe you haven't set up the custom menu. So what you first have to do when you set up your site, and I'm confident that I covered this, is that you have to first create, go to Appearance Menus, create a menu name. It can be whatever you'd like. I've just named it Main Navigation. And I clicked Save Menu. That's the first thing that we did. Then we went over to Theme Locations. Under Main Menu, we clicked the drop down and we found the Menu Navigation menu. This will pre-populate whatever text you enter over here. So if I name this something else, whatever I named it over here is going to show up for here. Once you assign this menu to Main Menu and you click Save, it will allow you to customize this content. So as soon as you start dragging, and how that's done again is right now you don't see that the download page secret doesn't exist over here. Of course, we wouldn't want it to show up in our main navigation, but if we did, we would tick this box, click the Add to Menu button, and you'll see it appear over here on the right in just a second. And it's here now, Download Page Secret. And so if I wanted to make this live on the site, I can add it. If I wanted to move it, above sample page that sets to the left to right in the main menu, it says Home, Mobile Site, Download Page Secret, Sample Page with 2 drop downs. I can do that. If I wanted to make it a drop down of Mobile Site, I can slide it a little bit to the right and it'll become a drop down now of Mobile Site. If I wanted to make it a second level drop down, I can slide it to the right even further underneath Blog, and now you see that we have an indentation here, which means that this full width page is going to become a drop down of whatever is above it, sample page. Blog is in that same area. The indentation space is the same. So sample page, if we hover over it, we're going to see full page, and then we're going to see blog. This one now, because it's got even more indentation space, became a second level drop down, and you'll see how that works in just a second. Of course, I know that you wouldn't want to put your download page live, but for fun testing purposes, we'll see that we still have home, mobile site, but when I hover over sample page, I get full width, and now I get blog. And if I hover over blog, I get this last page. And you'll see that there's an issue with the length of the page title. I'll point that out. I am going to ask Al about this. I know how to fix it through custom menus. I'm not sure why it's breaking to the second line. There may be a limitation with the slider, but know this. If you ever have a page title that is not fully outputting into the drop-downs, the best way to fix it, at least at the moment, we may be able to fix that in code. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. If not, when you go to your page title, you can customize the name that is shown in the drop-down menu without affecting the page name. So it doesn't mess with SEO or anything else. But if I just get rid of secret, and if I change that to download page or anything else, and I click Save Menu, go back to the site and refresh. Now we get sample page, full width blog, and now we get the full text over here. It just says download page rather than it trying to force it into 2 lines, which looks strange. So I will have Al look at that, but just know that there's an easy way to fix that look on the site. And of course, since we don't really want a download page, you can open it up and click remove, and it's gone. The last thing I'll talk about for custom menus before we just take anything and everything is right here. If you want it to automatically add new pages as you create them, you can tick this button. And if I had ticked this prior to creating the download page, it would automatically have placed a menu item in the menu for that page. Personally, I like this off. I like to control what I want to show in my main navigation, but that's entirely up to you. That's how that's done if you want it to happen automatically. Alrighty. Dave?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, can you expand on how you inserted 2 images in that header slider panel? Again, I've had quite a few questions about.
Questions about just the images? Yeah. Main
Yeah.
sliders. Okay. So the main sliders, and again, I'm going to be within probably the next couple of days before or by the weekend. I've already got a number of videos in production. I've already added a couple since we went live, but I've got probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 that are going to go live by this weekend, covering some additional things outside of just this webinar too. One will be much more in depth on main sliders, more in depth on featured boxes, are 2 of them. But right now on main sliders, if we go to create new content, so we would go add new. Again, understand that you might want to SEO your page titles in case you're using a plugin that outputs that content. For me, I'm just going to use this. So if you just go input a full-sized image, which we've listed inside of the site options panel, I think it's listed elsewhere, the proper size for the default slider is 960 pixels in width by 346 pixels in height. So if you want to create a full-sized image, that is the size that it should be, created and or cropped through Photoshop or whatever graphics program you're using, or from your graphic designer. 960 pixels wide, 346 pixels tall. We will talk much later about how to customize the size of the main sliders if you want to show something else. It is possible, but it's much more involved, not something I can get into right now. So the first thing to do is have the image prepared appropriately. If I click upload and insert, I can look at my media library and I can see that I've included 3 already. I've got 3 already active that are properly sized. So I'm not going to go through the process of uploading them. They're already here. So if I click show, again, I would want to put in SEO friendly alt text there. I would want to get rid of my link unless I did want to link that image to a particular page on the site, which you can certainly do, or even link it to an affiliate link. You can do that too. Make sure that it may default to showing the thumbnail. You want to make sure that it's going to show the full-sized image, and it will double check and let you know that the size is appropriate, 960 by 346. Alignment, I want none. And then I click insert into post. Okay, so by itself, this is going to show the image, but there's going to be a small problem, and I'm going to show you how to fix that here in just a second. So I'm going to publish it with the problem on purpose. I need to turn on the slider border, otherwise you're not going to be able to see the problem. So we'll go into Appearance, Site Options. We will go into Main Slider Options, and then we'll go turn on a border image. Right now, I've got the No Border Image option active. You can see this gray line that's showing around it. I'm going to go just put the, we'll go put the default. No, let's put this gray one. It'll show it even more, obviously. I just, by the way, I just ticked that border image, and you'll see that it added the outside gray line around it. And I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to do 2 things. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go turn on the arrows so we can tab through them. Actually, I have that content set up for no. Let's turn on circles. We'll use that. Save changes. So now we're going to have a slider border turned on. Right now it's off. It's going to be the gray variety, and we're going to have circles are now going to start to appear. So now the gray is on, the ability to navigate through the slides for the user is on because the circles are there, and the content still looks good. So if I go to the third one, this is the problem. The problem is by default, and again, this isn't a problem with our theme, just so you know. If there is ever a problem with our theme, believe me, I'll be the first one to admit it. You're not going to find me try to pawn this off on somebody else. But this is not a problem with our theme. This is an issue with basically how WordPress works. When you create content with WordPress inside of any one of the WYSIWYG, post page editors, etc., or main sliders, or featured boxes, or testimonials, it always tries to use what they call auto-p. Auto-p basically means it tries to wrap the content in a paragraph tag. Well, if you know anything about HTML, you know that paragraphs are block level content, which basically just means they try to put space above and beneath them, which is needed because you want some space between each of your paragraphs. Well, that's fine and dandy for paragraphs, but this isn't a paragraph, it's an image. The reason why we're having this white bar come up is because it has decided to, without our command, to wrap the image in a paragraph tag, which is forcing this ugly white space at the top. So the fix for that can be done one of two ways. If we go back into main sliders, the full list, and we go back and edit the live full image demo, click the edit link, it'll take us back into that area. The first way to fix it is to wrap the image in what is called div, D-I-V tags. That will immediately fix it. If I open up my text editor, we'll get rid of this, and I'll space over a little bit so you can kind of see it. If I put the less than symbol div before the image code, and if I put the closing div tag right here after the image code, if I add these two little pieces of text, these two little HTML tags, and I update it, it'll be perfect. And I'll do that first just so you can see how to do it if you don't want to use the shortcode plugin that we've provided. So before the image code, it's the less than symbol, div, the greater than symbol, basically just as you see it here. After the closing image tag, it's the /div. So we are basically, this is opening, what's referred to as opening the div tag, and this right here is closing the div tag. It says, okay, I'm done doing that. I click update, and we go back to the post, and we click refresh, and we go to the third. We will see that the image is exactly as it should be now. It's moved it up, got rid of the default paragraph tag, which it decided to add because it wanted to. Okay, so that's the first way. Second way is if you don't want to remember having to do this whole thing with the div tag, there is another way to do it, provided two things. Provided A, you've installed the shortcode plugin that we've provided for you, and B, that you followed my instructions to import the custom shortcodes. If I go to shortcodes over here on the left, because this plugin is active on the site, and if I go to shortcodes in the top area, which is also shortcodes, yeah, I want to leave the page. We'll see all the shortcodes that are available. The top 6, the first one is full slider image. This is our custom one. Featured box, learn more, featured box header, column for content, column for video, and the Aweber form for slider. These 6 custom shortcodes we have created and provided for you. They will only work, however, in conjunction with the shortcode plugin that we provided, and it will only work, of course, after you've installed and activated that shortcode plugin. If you haven't installed and activated that shortcode plugin, what I'm about to show you will not work. If you haven't imported the 6 custom shortcodes, or at least the full slider image for this demonstration, this isn't going to work either. So just please note that both of those things must be true in order for what I'm about to show you to work. If you don't, again, want to install that plugin or use that plugin, which is absolutely fine, we've given you detailed instructions in text form of how to do exactly what I'm showing you right now. It's already in the members area of how to avoid using shortcodes. So going back to the live full image demo, we'll do it again, and this time we'll do it with the shortcodes. So the first thing that we do is click this custom S icon that will show up if you have the plugin active. We select the category as main slider. We select the shortcode as full slider image. It says, okay, what content do you want? Well, unless I already know my image code, I don't know. I'm just going to type a placeholder. You don't have to do this. I'm just doing it so that you see what's going on. So the shortcode plugin output this content and this content, basically an opening and closing shortcode. It also threw the dummy text I just typed in right there. I'm just going to highlight it and backspace to get rid of it. You'll see that my cursor, if you can look at this area, is blinking in that area. That's where my cursor is currently active. So once that's the case, once my cursor is between those two shortcodes, I'm going to click the upload, and we're going to do the exact same process we did last time. We'll go to Media Library, since I've already uploaded it. I'm going to click this link to show it. I'm going to get rid of the URL path. Everything else is fine, no alignment. It is full size. I'm going to insert into post, and it's populated the path back to that image. I'm going to click update, go back to the website, and we're going to see no change. You're just going to have to trust me that it's using the new one. It's going to work perfectly regardless of whether you use the custom shortcode to complete it or whether you've just typed in the div tags wrapped around the image code. So that is that's how you show full images in sliders. Dave?
Okay, there was some questions, and it was regarding the different folders that each of the themes, the different types of themes are in.
The themes, the themes are all the exact same. It's basically one theme. The only difference between the themes is that this background area, this large background area that's shown on the home page, and it's only shown on the home page, has a different graphic for each of the 6. So for example, because I figured that might come up, I preloaded all 6. So if I go to Appearance and Themes, you will see that I've preloaded all of them. We have the default running over here. Of course, you wouldn't know it because I use this for the white label training. So it says Customs Joe Plumbing theme. I've changed this content. This was provided in the white label video that's in the members area already, but that's the default theme. Now we have styles 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The only difference again is the styling of the graphic that's in the background. So some of them are kind of similar. They don't look all that different. I mean, they are all different, but let's try, I think, 5 and 6. 6 is the most different. So this becomes really obvious to see the difference. But I've just activated 5, and you can see that here. Go back to the site and refresh. 5 is another one that's very different. So this is kind of like a block or tile-y type pattern, and again in the ocean blue color scheme. But that's the difference. The difference is this graphic in all 6 colors is different, and also the navigation image here is slightly different than the original. Those 2 things are the main difference. If we go back to the site and we look at the style 6, if we activate it, you'll see now that it has a diagonal pattern behind it. The very best way to know for certain is to do exactly what I've done. Just load up all 6 themes into a demo installation. Take a couple of minutes to activate each one at a time. And let's see, like 4. I think the 4 is the one that kind of looks like rain in the background, and I really like that one. for some reason. I like this one too. I like all of them. But yeah, this one I don't know. I gravitate to this look for some reason. But you know, they're all, you know, unique. And again, if you go to appearance and theme options, you have the ability to choose a different color scheme. And if you wanted to go with red, you can just choose the red version, red fire, save changes, and voila. See, that time it didn't preload the, what happened? We still have blue. The server is thinking.
So if you're unsure that you know which exact style you're going to want to use for your client side or for your own site, it's okay to load these all up on that particular domain and go through them?
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I would say is, you know, I would not recommend that, I'm trying to control F5. I would not recommend that you know, you leave all 6 up on a real client's site. But I mean, my suggestion to everybody that's on this webinar, everybody that's a Local Biz Pro theme customer, would be, something's hung up. It's not happy with me right now. Man, I'm serious. I can't recommend this more highly. If I were you, literally, this theme has so much potential for especially local offline business, but I mean for anybody, because of its flexibility and because of how well it's built. I think a lot of you will be using this theme a lot. You know, not just 1 or 2 times, but a lot, which is really awesome because each one of those themes, again, they're just a graphical styling difference. They all work the exact same way. And as a result, you don't have to go reinvent the wheel. Once you learn it, you know it, and you know how to work with it, you know, whichever of the 6 styles you decide to work with. My suggestion would be to put this up on a demo installation somewhere, either on a throwaway domain or just as a directory of your own, you know, xyz.com / you know, development / secret / demo, whatever you want. Upload WordPress, upload all 6 versions of the theme, upload the plugins, and then just spend, you know, a good weekend or 2 just digging in and diving in and basically messing with it, tweaking it, try to break it, try to do stuff that we didn't teach you to do, whatever. Just basically go out there and why is this thing mad at me? Always seems Murphy comes into play. There we go. Whenever you get on a webinar. Trust me, everything works properly. Just there was some weird server hang up, but we're good now. But yeah, I would install all 6. I would install the plugins. I would play with everything. I would watch all of our training and try stuff that we haven't taught you, just to see, you know, what works and what doesn't. And one other thing I'll point out, because I'm seeing it live now on the theme. Before, you'll see the download secret page wasn't here and we had a drop down. And you might be wondering, wow, what happened? The problem is there's not a problem with the theme. It's just the way WordPress works. So if this comes up, this is why. Initially, we had the basic theme active, and now we've switched over to a new version of the theme. As soon as you do that, all of your settings will stay in place. I mean, your content will all be there, all of your widgets will all be there. Everything will work really, really well, except for whatever reason, this one thing. Maybe they'll fix it in an updated version of WordPress. I'm not really sure. But if you go back to appearance and then menus, you're going to see that your menu still exists. There's not a problem with that. But for some reason, as soon as you switch over to a brand new theme, you'll notice that no longer is the main menu active for main navigation. It just doesn't show up here. This is the one area that doesn't come across when you switch themes. So you're going to have to click and go back to main navigation, and then re-click Save. And in literally just a couple of seconds time, as long as that's taken place, we'll see the menu switch back over to the way it was. So just FYI, if that happens to you, that's what's going on. It's not the theme.
All right. Kip, since you're talking about navigation, Mike has asked a question a couple times. He wants, let me find it real quick. He's asking about like the home page link, I guess, in the navigation. He doesn't want it to show at all.
Oh yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, I created a page called Welcome Our Site. I created it. This content is, the page name is actually Welcome to Our Site, and then I made the navigation label Home. So yeah, it's no problem, Mike. If that's what you want, just make sure that you get rid of it. Whatever your navigation title was, bingo. Save menu. Gone. That's it.
Okay. Let's see. Can the color behind the slider be removed?
The color behind the slider be removed. Yes. Only though if you're going to remove the slider. So this, I don't know why you'd want to have no color behind the slider with the slider active, but what you need to know is it's serving up an image, and this image is one wide image, 1920 pixels wide, to make sure it fills all the way full for the most massive of screens. If I click here, actually, let me do this. Let me close this. Let me actually just open Firefox. I had Chrome open initially, and this is now Firefox. And the reason is that they offer a couple of different things. And one thing that I like better with Firefox than with Chrome is the ability to view background images more easily. So if I right-click, I can choose View Background Image. And this is going to do a couple of things for us. Number one, it's going to preload the image so we can take a look at it. It's also going to tell us specifically what the image name is. It's named slider_bg for background.jpg, so it's a JPEG image. You can see where it's at. It's inside of the Redfire directory or folder, which is inside of the images folder or directory. In the top title area, it will give you a reminder of the exact size, 1920 by 392. So 1920 by 392 is the size. Again, it is named slider_bg.jpg. It's inside of the Redfire folder because we're using the Redfire color scheme, and it is 1920 by 392. Now this is way outside of what I expected to get into, and we're already over time here, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but since the question came up, if you really want to show an image, but a different one, or no image, again, I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but you can. We could, and this might absolutely break things. We'll find out. Photoshop takes a lot of horsepower, and GoToWebinar takes a lot of horsepower, and so doing this together might actually cause things to break. And if you get kicked off the webinar, well, we've already delivered 8 minutes extra content, so hopefully that won't happen. But here we go. So File, New. I'm going to create, I don't know why this is in centimeters. I'm going to create a new image that is 1920 pixels wide, and it is 392 pixels tall, and we're going to give it a background that is transparent, and I will say OK. All right, so now what we have is an image, and this is the size that you would use if you wanted to create your own custom image. 1920 pixels wide, 392 pixels tall, and since I set it to transparent, there's nothing here. Now, what you need to know is that there's a slight problem with trying to show you a transparent image. If I upload it, if I wanted to show a completely transparent image such that it would not show that background in that area, I can get it to work, but it's actually a two-step process. Number one, I have to use a .png image. .jpg images can't be transparent. Just if you didn't know that, JPEGs don't have transparency capabilities. PNG images do. So it's not just as easy as uploading a new image into the folder. I'd actually have to tweak some of the code, and I definitely do not want to get into that right this second. I definitely can and will in advanced videos, but I don't want to do that. So let's just say that you wanted to show something different. I know that's not your question, but maybe you want to show, you know, something that we haven't provided. You want to show, I don't know, here it's all black, and let's do something funky. Let's just turn on one of the normal effects. We'll go to, I want to show, how about, let's see, maybe styles. How about the one with the target in it? Yeah, so here's a really funky image, and I'm not trying to show you, and yeah, this looks awesome and do that, but just through a Photoshop style, just show you something unique. File, save for web. We will send this, we'll cause it to be a JPEG. We can mess with the optimization, how small we want this image to be optimized for load speed over here. Right now quality is 70. If we choose something less, you'll see that the file size becomes smaller. If we choose 100%, you'll see that the file size becomes much bigger. This is what's called optimizing images for the web. However, there is a direct correlation between the quality of the image, the way it looks, and the file size. So the better the image looks, the higher the file size, the more you optimize it. If we use, like, you know, something 57, we'll have a file size that's smaller. It'll load faster. It's better for SEO, but the file quality is not going to be as nice. So just know that there's a direct correlation. You have to play kind of between optimizing it down as much as you possibly can while keeping, you know, the quality that you or your client requires. So anyway, save. We'll send it to the desktop, and we will call it, since we know the name of that thing, slider_BG. It's going to save it as a type JPEG already, so that's good. Click Save. And now this image just went to my desktop, named slider_BG.jpg, and I'm going to get out of Photoshop. All right, so the next thing would be we have to upload it to the appropriate folder. You can do that through your file manager. I'm going to do it through FTP. I'll open up FileZilla real quick. I already have my host information set up for this install. I'll click Quick Connect. If you're not comfortable with FTP, don't worry about it. We're going to get more into this into the Web Developer webinar. So I'm logged into my server now. Inside of the root directory, which is public_HTML, if I double click it, we'll see a number of different things show up, one of which is training. And inside of training, we have the WP content folder, which is where the themes are. If I double click themes, you'll see the listing of our themes. And I'm pretty sure this was style 4. So we need to find the right theme. There's the images directory. I'll double click it. Inside of that, we needed to find the Redfire directory, which is here. Double click it. And now we're going to see, this is the image. This specific image is what's being shown currently behind the slider. So I'm going to right click and click rename, because I don't really want to remove it. Oops. And I'm just going to change this image to -orig for original. And once I do that, now that there's no slider_BG over here, just show you real quick, it's gonna make that image go away. So there's a way to get rid of the color behind it, but please don't do this, because it's looking for that image still and it can't find it. So you're going to have a 404 error output into your error log if you do it this way. But you know, if you wanted that look, you have the ability to change and just add a white image. Going back to FTP, we'll go to our desktop, refresh, we'll go find slider_BG. Drag that over. And now you see we have the new image, which is named identically to what it was originally, which is what you need to do. Refresh. Now we're going to have this back black thing that we can't even see the target because it's back there. But you get the idea. We've just switched out that graphic. And if you have a graphic designer, you can hire them relatively cheap to do, just a nice background work. You can make, custom stuff really, really fast just doing that process. So hopefully that was helpful and entertaining. Dave? David?
Still here. Still here.
Okay.
All right. Yes, I'm here. There's a question. Does the Redfire auto resize due to different screen sizes?
What do you mean?
I don't know. That's what Antonio, can you elaborate on it? It just says, does the Redfire auto resize? So
no, I think I know what he's asking. Basically, this is a fixed width content, so no, this is not a flexible layout. So the content is fixed in width, if that's what he's asking. Flexible layouts are very, very complex and add all sorts of extreme complexities when it comes to different browser testing and browser sizes, etc. Generally speaking, unless we have a client that absolutely demands it, we never build flexible width layouts for desktops, which is why you and I created the Mobile Web Pro templates to have an alternative for mobile sites, and the Mobile Web templates is built in a flexible layout to auto size to mobile devices.
Okay. I sent you a link. I don't know if you want to put it up. It's one of our customers has a work in progress. She dropped the link. It's in the chat box.
She wants us to show it off?
Well, if you want to.
But she's given.
Looks good. Yeah, she's given us permission.
She's given. Okay, so that was my.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that you don't want to be exposing your clients' properties if you're doing work for clients unless you have their express permission. Dave and I have made that mistake in the past, and it's crazy. This is awesome, Tara.
Yeah.
So this is a default monochrome of style number 4, the same that we just used over there. She's input a full header image, got rid of the logo, tagline, and heading widget content. Got some awesome looking photography in here. Of course, that makes sense. She's a professional photographer. Feature boxes look awesome. Love the addition of the content. The Learn More buttons look awesome floating over that. I haven't even tried that myself. That looked really good. Cool Facebook widget stuff going on. Got the fancy text widget involved. Yeah, this looks awesome. Good job. Good work.
Yeah. Paula actually sent that in.
Sorry. Paula's doing work for Paula?
Yeah, Paula.
Cool. Yeah, this is beautiful. Very well done.
Yep.
I like it. Just another example of how awesome. I mean, this, as far as just the regular layout stuff, everything's default. She hasn't made any changes to it. She's just selected a different slider border, added a custom header, and then added custom content down here to the feature boxes, etc. But this takes on a very different feel just by those changes alone. So good work.
There was a question regarding the where it says Local Biz Pro, the header graphic, how to change that out.
How to change it from Local Biz Pro to the header?
Yeah. Yeah,
that is already covered in the training. So I'll just show you just real quickly, but that's something that's already been covered. It's already in the training that's in the member area. So please make sure that you watch it. If you go to Appearance and then Site Options, in the general settings, you'll see that you have the option to either show a logo, tagline, and what it says is contact information, which is really kind of a misnomer. You can show anything you want or nothing at all in that top right section on the home page. Or you can show a full header image. And if you tick full header image by that box, then you have the ability to upload a header image. Let's see, do I have one? Yeah, full-size header image demo. Click open. You'll see it found it, and it's showing us a representation of what it will look like. And if I want to link that image, maybe I want to link it to, if you don't put any link in, by the way, I'm pretty sure that we included the technology. We'll test that. I'm pretty sure we included the technology to link it dynamically to your home page. So since that's typical, we'll put no link in here. Alt text again is good for SEO, so alt text for header. Again, using something that's SEO friendly, has a keyword or two in there, is beneficial. Just don't overdo it. And now that we've changed that one value and we've input an image, we come down to the bottom and click Save All Changes. Bingo, we have the header image instead of the logo, the tagline, and whatever we could have potentially put over there. That's as easy it is to do. And let's see, let's go to sample page. We've done so much work over the last 3 months to this scene that I get confused sometimes as to what we did and didn't implement, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's already clickable. And if I click this, it's going to take us back to the home page. I can already tell looking in the address bar, it's waiting for it at the moment, but that's where it's going. You see the circle thing by my cursor spinning. For some reason, my connection must be slow at the moment, but it is in fact linked. If you had, and there it is, we're back to the home page. If you wanted to link it to an affiliate product, you want to use the theme for affiliate work, which it's awesome to do that for it. Again, you don't have to have, it doesn't have to be a full-size header. It can be a 468 by 60 banner or 728 by 90 or whatever you want to put in there. But if you want to link it to an affiliate link, http:// I'm just going to put ClickBank. Whatever, put your affiliate link right there at the bottom. Click Save All Changes. Hopefully it doesn't take forever to refresh this time. And if we click it now, boom, we're over at ClickBank. Cool?
Cool.
Alrighty. Well, we're now 22 minutes past time, so we'll take 8 more minutes. We'll go half an hour over till 1 o'clock, and then we're going to call it a day. So please know we're not done. Like I said, I have lots more short video training to input into the members area. That should be coming by this weekend at the latest. Those are good because they're really good to go back and review short bits without having to go through a full webinar. In addition to that, of course, we have 5 more webinars scheduled for you guys as part of this process, or part of this package. Honestly, just the training alone, outside of the theme-specific stuff, is easily a $100 to $200 course, just FYI. But I hope you're excited about it.
Cool.
Cool.
Feature boxes.
Feature boxes.
Put in, just like Paula did on that photo, when you showed that off, some questions came up regarding placing those images in there.
Okay. But again, it works just like any other WordPress post. So if you know how to insert an image, and we've already done that process into a post, it works the exact same way. So here's an example. So if we go to, well, right now we don't have, feature boxes aren't even showing on the site, right? We've got a slider, and then we have right to content. So I've already covered that in training, but how that's done again is going back to homepage settings and saying, hey, do I want to show a slider? Yes or no? Do I want to show feature boxes? Yes or no? Sidebars on the homepage? Yes or no? Testimonials on the homepage? Yes or no? So we'll turn testimonials off for now, and we will turn on featured boxes. Of course, we have to show them in order to demo this. So now what we'll see is we'll see feature boxes are going to show underneath the slider, which weren't there before, and the testimonial is gone, and that's as easy as it is to do that. Now that we have those activated, go to featured boxes, and then we'll just edit one of the current ones. Since we already have 3 created, I'll just edit featured box number 1. So right now, by default, I've put in some heading text and the Learn More button. Let's say that you want to get rid of that. So do they have a particular, we'll go back to this site, do they have a particular style that they want me to, I'm not going to create everything, we have just an image, or we'll just do it this way. We'll just do it like she's done it with a title and an image. So we'll do it 2 ways actually. We'll do it this way. So if you just want an image in there, I created a default image for you. I'm not sure if I gave this out or not. If not, it will be coming to you very shortly probably in a PDF. Creating a PDF that has just a quick snapshot of each of the 6 different kind of home pages and how the background graphic looks, because some have asked for that. And I'm also going to include some default information about what the full size is of an image in the featured box, the size of an image placed in the sidebar, and you'll see that here in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and choose upload. Again, that's how you get images into an area. This time I'm going to choose select files, because I don't think I input it, and I'm going to find it. Let's see here. Webinar tools. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so if you want to use an image in the featured box and you want to use an image and nothing else, meaning no heading like she's done on the site, you just want to use an image, then the full-sized area that you have available to you is 280 pixels wide by 175 pixels tall. You'll need to make it smaller if you choose to show a heading text as she's done on her site. For the sidebar, if you want to put an image in your sidebar or a banner, just know that you have a maximum of 260 pixels in width to play with. So I'll go ahead and just upload the featured box demo graphic that I created for this purpose. And we will not link it. We'll use it full size, and we'll insert into post. So this is just my demo graphic that I've installed, and the text shows up over the top of it to remind you of the image area, and you'll see that here in just a second. So if you want to use a full image in this area, or even a video in this area, just know that that's the size you have to work with, 280 pixels in width by 175 pixels in height. If I wanted to do what she's doing, which is include an image along with heading text, then of course this image could not be that tall. I'd have to have an image that was smaller, and I don't honestly have one of those pre-prepared, so I'm not going to show you that, but it gets inserted the same way. Basically, you would, if we go back to the post, we'll go to feature boxes and number 2. You'll see that we've used the short codes to style the heading number 2, so you would just do that first, and then underneath it you would put the image. And of course, if you wanted to learn more link to show up, you would leave that there, and you would just replace this content in between, the image code here. I can't type right now, but you get it. You get the idea. The image code would go between. Of course, you would have to play with the sizings to make sure that the image, you can go 280 pixels in width without any problem, but you'd have to make sure that the height of the image was appropriate for your application, because these are fixed in height. Some asked why we didn't create them dynamic, and the reason why we didn't create them dynamic is because again, going back to the fact that we are using this, and Dave and I are using this in our own offline businesses in addition to having supplied it to you. We wanted to build things that we were going to really be happy with, and our clients were going to be happy with. And again, I have a lot of experience doing this, so I know what my clients like. They hate, as do I, when boxes or columns are next to each other and they're in varying heights. So if you make them dynamic and you input content here that's longer and this one grows long and then this one is short, it just looks really, really bad. So the way around that is to simply just fix the height of the content and just give you the parameters with which to work. So I think that's about it. We're at 1 minute before 1, so again, I'm certain that there were questions that we didn't get to. I apologize for that. We have run even a half an hour over to over-deliver content to you. Please know that more videos are coming. Please know that 5 more webinars are scheduled this month for you guys. And as questions continue to come in to Jerry, he'll forward them to us. And if we need to create some type of new training around them, either webinars or videos or PDFs, etc., then we absolutely will do that and supply it to you. So with that, I hope this was helpful. Does anybody want to post their thoughts on the webinar in the chat box? That would be kind of cool just to know, was this helpful? Are we on the right track with you guys? You guys loving the theme, etc.? I'm hoping that the answers to that is all yes, but we are open to your honest feedback as well.
David Perkins says it was all right. Thanks, Dave. No, we had a lot of good comments coming in.
Fortunately, Dave is a good friend of ours, so he can get away with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's on thin ice, so he really is. Over delivery.
Cool. All right. Anything to say, Dave, before we go?
No.
Does Jerry have anything to say before we go? Does Jerry type in the box if he wants me to say something before we take off?
Jerry
and I have to laugh because we talk, like Dave and I do, a lot, multiple times a day in regards to what the support is and what we can do to help and to minimize support, etc. One of the main questions that had kept coming in was, were the webinars being recorded? And we had added that content to so many different places we had to laugh. So yes, all webinars, unless some crazy unforeseen thing happens, will be recorded and replays made available again within about 48 hours of the live event. Jerry, say anything?
He just said thanks, and he's standing by for email messages.
So okay, cool.
Thanks, Jerry.
Yep, Jerry's the man. All right, y'all. Have an awesome, awesome day. And we will talk to you again soon. If I look at my next list, I can't tell you what webinar is coming up next, but I can tell you that it's coming up on Friday. This Friday, the 17th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m.
Backup Buddy.
Pacific. Backup Buddy. Awesome.
Thanks. Buddy.
Thanks for keeping me on track. So Backup Buddy webinar on Friday the 17th. Again, 6 p.m. start time Pacific. That's 9 p.m. Eastern. And we'll cover all of the core of Backup Buddy. We're not going to get to every single nuance, but we're going to get to the main stuff. It's an awesome plugin. I use it all the time and love it. And I think you guys will too. So that's it. Hope to see you guys on that webinar. Have a great day. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Jerry.
All right.
Appreciate you guys. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.